How good it is, how sweet it is. How good it is, how sweet it is. Umanai. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. Okay, it is so good to see everybody. If everybody will take your seats. All right, wonderful. So a couple words as we get started. One, at this point your phone should be away so that there's no pictures or selfies or anything like that as we're in our service, and that way we can actually focus on the task at hand, which is prayer and, of course, Ellie, right? That's why we're here, is to be together in prayer and worship and connect on Shabbat, but also celebrate a bat mitzvah. So we are all a sacred community by coming here together for this Shabbat Shachri service. Ellie's job is to lead us and teach us and inspire us. What you give her is what she's going to reflect back to you. So if you are responding to her and what she's saying, what she's leading, she's going to give it right back to you. Think of yourself as a mirror, and she's a mirror, right, Ellie? And this light's going to go back and forth between the two. This is a highly participatory service. If you reach under your chair, you'll pull out your red siddur that looks like this. Clashes a little bit with Ellie's pink, but we're gonna work with that. So if you pull out your red siddur, you'll see that it's set up in a particular way so that everybody can participate. You can open up almost any page, and you're going to see on the far right the Hebrew, the far left the English, and in between the transliteration. Okay? There are folks here from different traditions and different flavors of Judaism. Some of the prayers are going to be familiar to you. Some of the tunes are going to be familiar to you or not. So snaps, claps, taps, la-la-las. God understands la-la-la just fine. But this is all part of the energy. Part of the energy here. If you have a phone, I'm really going to ask you to turn it off. If you're a surgeon on call, put it on vibrate, but otherwise put it away. Apple Watches, stilled. Okay? If you have an honor, I think all the honors but one have been taken up. I mean, if you have a reading, okay, your readings are over on that table there, and you're going to come over when I call you up by your name, and you're going to stand right over here. This way you can look at Ellie, right? The choir mic will pick you up, okay? And this way you can deliver your what likely to be responsive reading, and she's going to lead us in the responsive part. If we need to leave quickly for any reason, it's always good to know where your emergency exits are. This is my stewardess impression. Here, 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 and if you need to, behind there, okay? Introductions, Cantor Lorna Desnick. I'm Rabbi Spike Anderson. Everybody knows Ellie, okay? What I want you to do is I want you to take a moment or two, okay, really, and turn to the people around you, especially people you don't know very well or at all. Hi, my name is, I haven't seen you since dinner last night. Ask me about my cat, whatever it is. But please, turn around and let's get to know each other a little bit. This is how we can bridge our gaps. mato umanai shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is, how sweet it is together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Umanai shevet achim gam yachad. Hine mato umanai shevet achim gam yachad. So Ellie, as we've talked about, the bat mitzvah is a rite of passage, right? It's something that you've been studying about for a long time, right? Getting ready for. And now in the next 90 minutes, you are miraculously going to turn from a Jewish kid to a Jewish adult, all before your eyes, okay? And it is symbolic, largely symbolic, but also there's some real performative pieces to it, okay? So there is a thought that the Jewish people we are not a big people. I don't mean big in stature. We're small in numbers, so about 2% of America. And if you look at the world, about 1 out of 10,000 people is Jewish in the world. So really not a numerous people. But one of the thoughts is, Ellie, the reason that we are successful where we go is because we empower our youth at a very early age to lead, okay? We empower you to lead, and we need you to lead. And so this is sort of the rehearsal for whatever is next, more than a rehearsal, but the rehearsal, right? You've been preparing to leave the service, which you're going to do, and not just for the people who know you, but the people who don't know you, many of whom are online, okay? You're going to be chanting Torah and Haftarah in the original, which is hard. You're ready, but it's hard. And then interpreting Torah, that's your speech, your Devar Torah. You're going to teach us. So here you are, 13 years old, and you're going to be teaching us. That's a very, very big deal. So along the way, there are signposts of how are we now going to be looking at you with your newfound status as a bat mitzvah, as a Jewish adult, all right? One of the things that we have in this ceremony is your tallis. This is your adult Jewish clothing, okay? Kids aren't allowed to wear it, meaning last month you weren't allowed to wear it, at least publicly. Yesterday, even at 7 o'clock this morning, you couldn't do it. Now, as a symbol of you transitioning into this Jewish adulthood, we are going to present you, specifically your parents, Josh and Lori, are going to present you, so Josh and Lori, come on up, with your adult Jewish clothing as an outward sign that we are looking at you differently as a Jewish adult. So come on up, and you guys are going to take this right here. I'm going to hand you a mic.
As this talit draped around your shoulders, may the voices of the generations speak to you. May you know that there is people, a rich heritage to which you belong, a sacred place from which you are connected, to who dwell on earth.
As you are embraced in the folds of this talit, so too are you wrapped in the loving embrace of your family, community, and this holy congregation. May the simplest of garments always be for you a symbol of God's abiding and sheltering presence.
As you recite the blessing and wrap yourself in this talit, we proudly watch and celebrate with you as you accept your place in the chain of our tradition.
Okay, so now you're going to read the blessing. Right, Baruch. And we all say amen. Okay, and now Mom and Dad, you're going to drape said tallis on your daughter. That's right, take your time. Okay, and then you're going to fix her hair. Okay. Now, Mom and Dad on either side of her, please, okay? We know that families and communities come together for all sorts of reasons. Sometimes they're sad out of necessity. This one, Ellie, super happy, right? So what do we Jews do when we know we're in a particular type of time? We sing Shahaki Anu, the Shahaki Anu Prayer. Literally, thank you, God, for this moment in time, that we are beyond words, right? That we have the people around us, may we have this type of connection and holiness and togetherness again and again and again. Please join us on page 5. Hug and a kiss. It's a touchy-feely service. And down we go. Beautiful. Okay, so Ellie, you're going to start leading us on page 6. Good. What a beautiful intention. So now, Ellie, you're going to lead us on page 7 with Nasim B'chol Yom. Nasim B'chol Yom are the daily miracles. And as you're going through them, everybody, right, each one is supposed to be taken both literally and figuratively. So if you look at the one that says, who opens the eyes of the blind, blessed are you, eternal our God, who opens up the eyes of the blind. It could be taken literally, that literally, you know, there's medical technology that allows people who would otherwise be blind to see. Maybe it's ourselves, but also figuratively. Like sometimes it takes a miracle to have us or the people around us who are blind, figuratively, to be able to see. So as Ellie is leading us, okay, well, for each one we respond with an amen, which means I believe or I will believe, right? An amen. And go through and see which one of these has your name on it, as if I was going to call on you afterwards and ask you to share which one of these has your name on it this morning and why it's important to you. So Ellie, whenever you're ready, you're going to lead us on page 7. Amen. 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 Okay, take a second and look back on the previous page or two. And each of you should figure out which one of these speaks to you this morning, which has your name on it. Okay, who would like to share? Okay, so for each of us who's going to share, just say your name, okay, and which one most speaks to you. I'm going to hand you the mic. Which one most speaks? That could be dangerous.
Yeah,
Which one?
for sure.
Okay, go ahead.
And I don't usually need one of these, but for the people who are Zooming, I'm Barry Lubin, a very proud grandfather, sitting with my dad's tallest on my shoulders, and my mom and dad in my pocket and in my heart. They all speak to me, Spike. The first one that really brings freedom to the captive.
Why does that
Yeah.
speak to you this morning?
Say it again.
Why does that one speak to you this morning?
I live as a free, happy man today
Okay,
because of the grace of God.
okay, beautiful, beautiful. Others? Yeah? Somebody want to share? Okay, tell us who you are.
I'm Joanne Lipschutz, and I was Ellie's tutor. And I have one of blessed are you, the eternal our God, who stretches out the earth over the waters. It made me think of this week and all the water we saw.
Yeah? Okay, good. Others? It's so funny. Eyes start turning away from me as I move towards people. Want to share? Okay, tell us who you are.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Bobby Kaufman, Ellie's cousin. Very proud of her. And I like the verse about removing sleep from the eyes and slumber from the eyelids.
Yeah.
Because going to what you were saying about the allegory, I think a lot of people kind of sleep through the day. And I feel like waking up from that intellectual or psychological slumber is really meaningful.
Yeah, there's more to life than going through the motions. We're supposed to not just live, but live.
Yeah, exactly.
Really live. Okay. Friedenberg, want to share? Yeah.
I'll share one.
Tell us who you are.
I'm Susan Friedenberg. I'm a friend's mom, but also a family friend, I feel. And the one that speaks to me today is, blessed are you, the eternal our God, who has made me a Jew. Because I think it's really reflective of Ellie and Ellie's choice to participate and actively be a Jew in her community and encourage her friends to do the same.
Beautiful. So I'm sure if we put your nose to the grindstone, everybody could have a good answer, but we're going to move on with our service, knowing that each of these prayers is supposed to be intensely, intensely personal. Okay, Ellie, page 13, please. And we all join in on this here. Thanks to express, hopes to nurture. Together, may its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May this synagogue be for all who enter the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. Beautiful. We rise for Baruch Hu, page 15. moment, you're going to lead us in our Yotzer Or prayer on page 15. And Ellie, Yotzer Or is this prayer about thanking God for creation, right? Now, on one hand, like the one-time creation that any of us are here at all, okay? And that's good if you can get your head around that. I have a hard time getting my head around that sometimes. What's a little easier for me, and maybe for you, is this idea in Judaism that every morning that we wake up, we have a chance to create ourselves and our environment anew by how we walk through the world, how we speak to each other, how we think of ourselves, how we drive, how we buy, how we vote, right? All of that. We create the world around us anew every day. We are not locked into decisions of yesterday or yesteryear. That's a hugely empowering statement. And Judaism is a religion that empowers us to take the world from where it is to where it needs to be, right? A place of brokenness to a place of wholeness. Ellie, would you lead us in the prayer for Yotzer Or on page 15? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And on page 16, how you're going to lead us in a moment in Haftarah Reading, which talks about God's abundant love. Now, I don't know if your parents did this when you were little, but there's sort of songs that I used to sing to my kids as they were going to bed about everybody who loved them in their life, like Mama loves you, Dada loves you, Grandpa loves you, Grandma too, right? And this list can go on and on. Somewhere on this list, right, there's an idea that God loves you, that God is part of your life, and God is really very much there for you and is close as just asking and reaching out. Now, the other part of this talks about God's abundant love for the Jewish people. Now, just because God has abundant love for the Jewish people doesn't mean that God doesn't have abundant love for other people too, right? That makes sense. So Lori and Josh, you've got 2 daughters. They're very different from each other, right? Not the same person. And you love each one of them to the moon and back, right? Unending, eternal is your love. So the love for one doesn't at all preclude the immense eternal love for the other, and vice versa, right? Same thing with God and people. So, Ellie, would you take this prayer, Haftarah Reading, and lead us and raise it up and the message behind it? That's page 16. Beautiful. And now we're all focused, so we're going to feel our feet on the floor. We're going to get ready for our Shema, the central prayer. You've said it so many times in your life, and now this weave is coming to a point. Adonai Echad, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Please be seated. Okay, Ellie, you're going to get ready to lead us in Via Havta on page 18, which is the second part of the Shema. A reminder that we have reminders in our life that we can be our best selves, right? Our default position isn't sort of just going through the motions, that we actually can aspire each day, each moment, to be something more, something magnificent, something part of the whole. Whenever you're ready, Via Havta on page 18. Et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha kol nafshecha uvechol meodecha vehayu halivarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha vedibarta bam veshivtecha bevetecha ulechtecha vadera ushach becha uvekumecha ushartam leot ayadecha ayula totafot beinenecha uftavtam al mezuzot beitecha Uvi sharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem mikol mitzvotai v'item kiddoshim le'Elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lechem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. Okay, on page 19, we're going to call up your friends Emily Friedenberg and Benjamin Funk. You're going to lead us in the responsive prayer on page 19. So you're going to come right to that choir mic, and you're going to make eye contact with your friend for a sec. All right, and whenever you're ready, on page 19. You are in the courage with which we overcame 40 years of desert wandering. You are in the love that creates, protects, forgives. We praise you, Adonai, Redeemer of Israel. Michamocha, page 20.
Everybody join with me. We're going to build up the energy by clapping our hands together first. Like this. Beautiful. Keep it going while I start to play and then sing on. What do you think?
Please rise. Baruch Baruch Shemo. So, Ellie, we're about to enter into the Amidah, the standing prayer or central prayer on page 21. And this is supposed to be sort of our most intimate group conversation with God. So we're not entering this like a cold call. We're not calling like, hey, we don't know who you are. We're actually saying, as we're starting this out, that we have with God, you and each of us, what's called yichus, which is a connection through our parents and our grandparents and our great-grandparents. So imagine you're meeting somebody and you don't really know them or haven't seen them in a while, and rather than just going to them top, you're like, oh, actually, you know my grandpa, and you know my grandmother, and my mom and my dad, and we actually have this long history together, right? Even if I have not seen you or spoken to you in a while. So that's the approach that we're supposed to take with the Amidah, which you'll find on page 21, and you'll pick up your notebook and turn. Ready?
Adonai, Sevatai Tivta, Uvia Gitehilatecha.
Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise.
Baruch atah Adonai,
Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, V'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol v'Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Hasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevi Gula Livnei B'neihem, L'man Shmo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai,
Mechayei Hakol Atarav Lehoshia.
Mashiv HaRuach U'Marit HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayem Emunato L'Shenei Afar, Micha Mocha Pagevurot, U'Mito Melach, Melech Memit, U'Mechaye, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, V'Ne'eman Atah L'Chayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechaye HaKol. We're going to call up Mark, Karen, Jake, and Nathan London to our choir mic to lead us on page 23. There is holiness when we strive to be true to the best we know. There is holiness when we strive for harmony in all of our relationships. There is holiness when people seek justice and struggle for righteousness. There is holiness when we forget what divides us and remember what unites us. Kedusha, page 24. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tsevaot, Velo kol haaretz kivodo. Baruch kivod Adonai, ממקומו.
אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו ומלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמנו, ורחמיו לעיני כל חי.
ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, ודור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גלך. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גלך. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גלך. לדור ודור, לדור ודור. Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo. Amen. Okay, on page 25, Ellie, will you lead us responsively?
From of old, the Jewish people have seen Shabbat as a unique gift, a token of its covenant with God.
We can be seated. Shabbat is the most cherished creation of the Jewish spirit. It mirrors the essence of the Jewish soul.
Shabbat has never been merely a day of rest from labor, which has always been a grace and routine of every day.
Shabbat is a symbol of liberation and triumph, of the holy over the profane, of spirit over matter.
In every age, Shabbat afforded the Jew a sacred retreat, a haven of safety, a fountain of new strength and perpetual renewal.
Shabbat nurtures family life in love and harmony. A home at peace welcomes Shabbat with joy.
Shabbat is a part of nature's design, the very purpose of creation. All that was created attained its fulfillment in Shabbat.
Shabbat is our hope, the calm haven where all the weary find rest. With the coming of Shabbat, redemption and peace enter the world. Yismechu, page 26. Shomrei Shabbat v'korek oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha. Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'korek oneg Shabbat. Kadeshe v'reishi Shabbat. Yismechu b'malchutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'korek oneg Shabbat. Yismechu malchutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'korek oneg Shabbat. Here we go. Yismechu malchutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'korek oneg Shabbat. Yismechu malchutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'korek oneg Shabbat. Yismechu malchutecha, Shomre, Shomre, Shomre Shabbat Bekorek, Oneg Shabbat. Yes, Mechu, Malhutecha, Shomre, Shomre, Shomre Shabbat Bekorek, Oneg Shabbat. Beautiful. Cousins, Marilyn and Kaufman and Judy Shea Petty, come on up on page 27, and you're going to lead us responsively. But miracles are all around us and within us. We are each walking miracles. When we see suffering, what miracle saddens us? When we give and receive love, what miracle warms us? When we pray, what miracle renews us? For all these miracles, may your name be exalted forever and ever. I'd like to call up Clayton Taylor and Sarah Taylor to lead us on page 28. Inspire us to banish hatred, war, bloodshed, and bigotry. Help us to establish forever one human family, doing your will in love and peace. You have given us the power, O God, to bring peace and justice into the world. May we always love peace and pursue it, and love our fellow creatures. Fill us with kindness, wisdom, and love. Then shall we learn to live in peace. Blessed is God, teacher of peace. We would invite everybody for a moment or two of silent prayer, reflection, meditation, communion, conversation with the divine. So Laura and Josh, I'm going to ask you to come on up and join your daughter for the parent's blessing on page 31, which is also printed up here. And what you're going to be, this blessing you're giving her is like a mashup. It's an amalgamation from the rabbis of the Talmud, who are not only these great spiritual beings, but they were parents. And so these are words that they delivered, in theory, to their own children, and now today you're going to take that and deliver to your daughter on the occasion of her bat mitzvah.
May you live to see your world fulfilled. May your destiny be for worlds still to come. And may you trust in generations past and yet to be.
May your heart be filled with intuition, and your words be filled with insight. May songs of praise ever be upon your tongue, and your vision be on a straight path before you.
May your eyes shine with the light of holy words, and your face reflect the brightness of the heavens. May your lips ever speak wisdom, and your fulfillment be in righteousness.
The words are getting a little blurry. A Jewish home opens its heart, and its link to the generations is proclaimed. Today our child, nearly grown, is called to read from the Torah and is welcomed into the congregation.
May this moment be blessed.
Hug, hug, kiss, kiss. Beautiful. So I would ask everyone to rise. We're getting ready for our Torah service. Parents, stay right up here with us. On page 32, we're going to invite grandparents to come up. So Barry Lubin's going to come on up. Marcia and Richard Berger are attending virtually, so hello. We're missing you, but you're here. We feel you. And we're also going to ask Harold Penn and Scott Keyser and Linda Keyser to come on up, okay? In addition, we're going to have Jackie Taylor, David Lubin, Abby Lubin to come on up to open the ark, and cousins Julie and Bobby Cutler and Kaufman, respectively, to come on up, and you guys are going to be in the wings, ready to undress the Torah. So, friends, come on up. My ark opener is right up here with me. Okay, you're going to be on either side. Okay. Grandparents, are parents going to get us? You're good. You guys are good. Hi. Okay, here we go. We're going to open the ark. Okay, Ellie, come with me. Okay, everybody good? You guys are going to stand right over here on the side. Okay, grandparents, I don't care about the order. Just stand right there and nobody get hurt. Okay. All right, Ellie, you're doing so great. You're doing so great. Ellie, you and the Torah are here for a very particular reason, and that is because of the decisions that have come from the folks who have come before you, your parents and your grandparents. If you look behind you, actually, you're going to see your parents and grandparents, okay? In your grandpa's pocket is a picture of great-grandparents. And actually, we Jews believe that they are here, great-grandparents and great-great-great and great-great-great, the Jewish generations, circling this sanctuary again and again and again. So we believe that they're here and they're smiling. They're totally smiling because of what you are doing. And that is getting ready to take Torah and all the amazing privileges that come with it and the responsibilities, right, of having this particular orientation. This is good. So now symbolically, Ellie, of what has happened to get us to this place, we're going to symbolically pass the Torah down, and we're going to have grandparents just give a little touch and kiss, whatever they like to do. Okay. There you go. You can just, yeah, there you go. Careful, careful, careful. There you go. bring to Mom. And then actually hand Torah to Dad. Okay, Ellie, you're going to face Dad so he doesn't hurt his back, okay? And right to her right shoulder when you're ready. Yeah. Okay, Ellie, you've got it. Okay, so now you're going to turn this way, and Dad, you're going to stand right next to her, facing out.
All right, we're going to join together in our Shema on top of page 33.
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh. We're going to turn and face the ark. You're going to follow me, okay? Lecha Adonai. And everybody can come. Okay. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Shabbos Egis Takavu Echad Gocho Romemu Adonai Elohei Veis Takavu Echad. Careful there. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki Okay, so, yep, you guys go ahead and sit. So, friends, we are getting ready for Ellie to chant Torah. She is going to be chanting from Matzorah, which is in Leviticus. If you reach under your chair, you're going to find two big, thick books that are blue. The one that says the Torah is the one that you want. And if you want to follow along, you're to open it up to page 841. It's the one that says the Torah, 841. If you see prayers in that book, you've got the wrong one. Okay, so there's two blue books. 841, you're going to see the scripture. That's going to get you to Leviticus 14:1.
All right, for the honor of our first Aliyah, we call very proud grandfather Barry Lubin to the bima. Ya'amod baruch b'chai v'leah la'aliyah Torah. And Rabbi is going to hand you a microphone.
Yep, so scoot right over this way. I want to take your tallis. I want you to touch and kiss your tallis to them. Okay. And when you're ready.
Baruch Adonai HaMarach.
Baruch Adonai HaMarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bacha banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Amen.
Vayedaber Adonai El Moshe Lemor. Zot tihiyeh Torah HaMitzorah Beyom Tehorato Behuva El HaKohen. Beyatza HaKohen El Mihus L'Mahaneh Bera'ah HaKohen Behine Nirpa Nega Hatzarat Min Hatzarua.
Beautiful. Touch and kiss.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu et Torato v'hayeh olam natah b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Big hug. Big hug. Beautiful. And yes, Grandpa hang out right here next to me. Nice to see you too. And for our second aliyah, we are going to call Aunt and Uncle Jackie Taylor and David Lubin. Ya'anu Yemina bat Baruch v'Miriam, David ben Baruch v'Miriam, Ma'ali ala Torah.
Baruch et Adonai Hambarat.
Baruch Adonai Hambarat le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarat le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Betziva HaKohen Belakach Lamitaher Shetesit Porim Chayot Tehorot Be'etz Eres Ushani Tolat Be'ezo. Betziva HaKohen Beshahat Et Hatzipor Ha'echat El Kli Eres Almayim Hayim Et Hatzipor Hachaya Yikach Ota Be'et Eitz Ha'eres Be'et Shani HaTolat Be'et Ha'ezov Betaval Otam Be'et Hatzipor Hachaya Be'edam Hatzipor Hashehuta Ah Hamayim Hachayim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayeh olam natu v'hontenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Big hugs. Big hugs.
All right.
Beautiful. And you guys are going to hang out right next to me while I get to call a very proud mom and dad, Josh and Lori. Ya'anu Yehoshua ben Baruch v'Miriam, la'aliyah Torah.
Baruch Adonai Hamborah.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Hamborah le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Behiza Ah Hamitaher Min Hatzarat Sheva Pe'amim Beti Haro Beshila Et Hatzipor Hachaya Al Panei Hasadeh Bechibes Hamitaher Et Begadav Begila Et Kol Se'aro Berahas Bamayim Betaher Be'ahar Yavod El Hamahaneh Veyashav Mihutz Le'oholo Shivat Yamim Behaya Bayam Hashabi Yigala Et Kol Se'aro et rosho ve'et sikano ve'et gavot enav ve'et sa'er ve'et kol si'aro yigalea ve'chives et begadav ve'rahas et besharo ba'mayim betaher.
Good. Talit, touching keys. Anything of the mind?
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Because you did. Now, Mom and Dad, you're going to stay right here, and Ellie, you're going to do me a favor. Yep, you already know what to do. You're going to go have a seat. My dear, wow, what a magical morning. Really, really, truly magical. And I've known you for a long time. And this moment that's about to happen to you, I can see how you've been just taking in every moment. And it's just been so uplifting. And you are about to uplift us even more, if you can believe it. Because Ellie, this is the moment where you move from being awesome kid, fabulous artist, creative, into being a wonderful, amazing, kind, sensitive, young adult, active Jewish member in your community. Not only your Jewish community, but in your school community, in all of your extended communities. And the really cool thing, Ellie, is that once you move into becoming a bat mitzvah, you're a bat mitzvah forever. Forever and ever and ever and ever. And so in doing so, by calling you up and having you walk from your seat up to the Torah, you're literally making an aliyat nefesh. You're demonstrating that to us physically. What an aliyat nefesh is, it's an elevation. Aliyah means to ascend. So it's an elevation or ascension of the soul. And not only do you ascend into a greater, deeper connection to your Judaism and community and Jewish life and peoplehood and heritage and ancestors, but you bring us both up, elevate us, and bring us into that deeper connection as well. So it is my privilege and pleasure and honor to call you up to the bima as an official bat mitzvah. Talmud ha-bachura bat mitzvah chaya Ilona bat Yehoshua la'aliyah Torah.
Okay, here's the blessings. Whenever you're ready, Baruch.
Baruch et Adonai Hameborach.
Baruch Adonai Hamerach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hameborach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Uvayom hashmini yikach shnei hevasim tamimim bechavza ahat bat shenatan tamima uthlusha esronim solet mimha belulav vashemen belog ehad shaman vehe'emid hakohen hamitaher eight ha'ish hamitaher be'otam Lifnei Adonai petach ohel moed. Velakach hakohen et hakebes ha'ehad. Vehikriv oto le'asham be'et log ha'ashamen. Vehiniv otam tenufa lifnei Adonai.
Oh, wow.
I want you to take your seats and touch and kiss right there. Okay, beautiful.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Amazing. Okay, everyone please rise. Mom and Dad, will you flank Ellie on either side of you? Ellie, with the open Torah and having just lain so beautifully, we're going to give you a special Misha Berach blessing. And this is a blessing for your continued spiritual development, with the idea, Ellie, that this day and this moment serves as a spiritual cornerstone for you, that you can push off of to wherever you're going to go, but also always find your way back to it. So, we'll go in Hebrew, then in English. Misha Berach Avotenu v'imotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak v'Yakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel v'Leah, hu yivarech et Chaya Ilona, bat Yeshua, shehagia lemitzvot la'alta l'Torah, hakadosh baruch hu, yismereha v'choyeha, v'chonen et liba liot shalem im Adonai Eloheha, l'got b'Torah tola lecha b'drachav l'mizmor mitzvotav, v'tim sechen, v'tsechel tov, v'nei Elohim v'adam v'nomar, Amen. May God, who blessed our ancestors, our forefathers and our foremothers, bless you, Ellie, who's come up for an aliyah upon the age of mitzvot. May the Holy One guard you and sustain you, helping you to be wholehearted in your faith, studying God's Torah, walking in God's ways, and fulfilling God's mitzvot. May you find favor before God and before all people, and we say, Amen. Please remain standing for the lifting and rolling of the Torah. We're going to invite up Abby Nash and Robert Freeman to help. And we are on page, Cantor? 36 at the top. And parents, you could be seated too. So, Ellie, you are going to deliver your Devar Torah, really a sermonette. The words that you've been studying about and you've chanted mean something, and not just to the people in the Torah, but to people today and to you. So you are going to delivering your understanding of these ancient words and how they're relevant to us as Jews today. Shabbat Shalom.
Services working on restorative leaders.
Shabbat Shalom. So, I don't think anybody doubts that we just heard from a young woman, right? A young woman with a real message to say, and the emotions are reflective of what's real, right? What's real in this world, and thank you for elevating that, Ellie, that and us. When you're ready, we'll wait till you are. We're going to continue with our Haftarah Reading, which you're going to find in that same blue book, okay, on page 1656. This is the scriptural reading from Malachi. This Shabbat is a special Shabbat. It's called Shabbat HaGadol. It's the final Shabbat before Passover. And traditionally, this was one of 2 times a year where the rabbi would actually speak in the synagogue. Things have changed a little bit. But it's also, this particular reading is one which talks about the possibilities of what could be. What kind of world could it be? Depending, again, on the choices that we make every day and with one another, right? How we walk, how we speak, what we choose to say and not to say. Apropos the Lashon Hara, the gossip that you just spoke to us about. So whenever you are ready, okay, and you'll find the Haftarah blessings on page 36. Baruch Baruch Shemo. Amen. All right, you're doing great. Deep breath. Okay, on page 39, we're going to rise for Eitz Chaim. Abby, will you bring up your grandpa Barry, and you two are going to open the ark together? So we're back to our red books, and we're on page 39. If you'll two open the ark. Shalom Adonai
Where'd it go?
right here.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Disappeared on me.
beautiful. Please be seated. Ellie, you're going to come on right up here with us. There you go, right up here. So you're going to stand right like this, and you're going to look right at Cantor. So, Ellie, I'm so proud of you. We're so proud of you. Ellie, there's this great. The rabbis ask, "What is courage? What is courage?" And the answers that they give refers to usually this David and Goliath story, where David is looking across the Hudna Valley and seeing something big and formidable. And courage, as it comes down through our tradition, is not being scared or nervous or anxious. Those are real. We can't do anything about that. But being able to look at our fears, look at the uncertainty of the next moment or tomorrow, and be able to walk forward. That's courage. And that's what you've displayed today. Truly, truly courage. The plan all along, Ellie, was for you to take something which was maybe not the natural place for you to be or to go, but to have the courage, to gather the courage to study and move forward and wrestle with and delve into and explore, and in doing so, lead us as a synagogue community in our prayers with something to teach us. You've done all that, big time, flying colors, A+. The hope is that you take this confidence that you get from this, that you did it, even if it wasn't easy. Take this confidence, remember it, store it away in your heart, and that way when the next thing comes up and the next thing comes up, you can look back and say, oh, I know how this is going to go, and I know how it could end, and I'm going to make sure it happens that way. Okay? You have transitioned from a Jewish girl to a Jewish adult, all before our eyes, and we saw it as a community. We just witnessed this through what you did, what you led, what you said, how you spoke, how you conducted yourself with poise and grace and courage.
Ellie, I'm so very proud of you. Inside, I'm jumping up and down and cheering you on. And I have had the wonderful gift of knowing you for so many years now, both through making music together and also through learning together, learning Hebrew, and text and liturgy and prayers. And I remember my favorite moments with you were actually on Zoom, believe it or not, because then I got to see your amazing art. And you just have this amazing creative soul. And there's this phrase, and you've heard it said several times today in various readings, may your eyes shine with the light of holy words, with holiness, with Torah. You are literally shining and beaming this amazing neshama that is sensitive and creative, that is holy and sacred. And it's so clear that all of this is holy and sacred to you. And I see that when I see your art framing you in the background, and it's like seeing your soul. And that's what we creatives do, right? We put our soul out there through our art. It's so hard. It's so hard to do. And so I am so very proud of you for having that amazing bravery and vulnerability to put your soul out into the world through all of your gifts, through that creativity. And I know, without a doubt, this is my blessing for you, but I know it's going to happen, that you just continue to share that amazing neshama, to share the beauty that you create. And my dear, you are just going to soar so high, we're going to be waving up at you. Mazel tov.
Don't forget about us, Ellie. So now, friends, we're going to ask you all to rise as Cantor and I get to bless Ellie with the priestly benediction, the blessing that we've been giving, our clergy has been giving youth at these liminal moments in time since time began as we know it. May God bless you and keep you. May God's countenance shine upon you and be gracious to you. May God's face turn towards you, Ellie, and grant you the greatest gift of all, which you have today. Feet on the ground, Torahs at your back, Ner Tamid above you, surrounded by family and friends and tradition and community, held high, raised up, a sense of accomplishment, success, wholeness, and peace. And we say, Amen. You may be seated unless you are Ellie's mom and dad, and then you're supposed to come on up. Nice and close, okay? Okay.
Ellie, I have so many reasons to be proud of you, but I will start with how impressed I am by your conviction and commitment to becoming a bat mitzvah. Even when it was challenging, you persevered, and because of your determination and hard work, we're celebrating today. I'm also so proud that you've developed a love and appreciation for the arts. You've become a talented and versatile artist. I'm continually amazed by your artwork, whether it be something you've knit, or crocheted, drawn, or painted, or your clay and jewelry creations. On top of that, you're a gifted musician. I'm extremely impressed by your musical talents and the fact that you can play the piano, the ukulele, the clarinet, and the violin, even the guitar a little bit too. And I'm blown away when I watch you listen to a song and then pick up any of these instruments, and then you begin instantly playing it by ear. I'm also very proud of the person you've grown into over the years. You're smart, funny, kind-hearted, and caring. You're always true to yourself. You follow to the beat of your own drum, and that's something nowadays that takes courage and confidence. And lastly, I can't talk about how proud I am of you without also talking about Grandma. Because you and Abby were her pride and joy. And although she's not physically present with us today, she's here in our hearts. And I know she would be incredibly proud of the young lady you've become. I love you.
My turn. This is not my speech. Just kidding. Wow. Before I read my speech, just a couple quick thank yous. Just want to thank Rabbi Spike, Rabbi Rachel, Rabbi Max, Cantor Lauren, Joanne. We appreciate everything each of you have done to teach and support our entire family leading up to today. And thank you to all our friends and family who've joined us here today in person and virtually. Hi, Mom. Hi. I'd like to read a very short story about how Ellie managed to gather us all here today. In the beginning. Just a joke. You guys got it. That landed pretty well. All right. Ellie's path to her bat mitzvah actually began with an unfortunate event, a fire that burnt down our local music school where we took piano lessons. As the school got back on its feet, it took up residence here at Temple Emanu-El. At the time, we weren't members of the congregation, but as we continued Ellie's lessons here on Saturdays, Ellie would look at the Sunday school's artwork hanging on the walls and ask me questions about Hebrew, the Jewish holidays. I answered as best I could. One day, Ellie looked up to me and said, "Dad, I want to start going to Sunday school and have a bat mitzvah." We met Rabbi Spike, who explained the type of commitment it would take to being a bat mitzvah, and Ellie jumped in and never really shied away. Ellie, we are so impressed with how quickly you've picked up Hebrew, your hard work for the past several years, and your pride in being Jewish. You've done an amazing job here this morning, amazing, and couldn't be prouder of you. And if you needed any more reasons, here's a few, okay? I love that you ask questions about history, religion, and the world. It reminds me of the kinds of questions I used to ask Grandpa when I was a kid. These were questions like, will there ever be another world war? Or how does suction work? Yeah. These are big, deep questions, and you do the same thing to me. Even though it may not seem like it, I really enjoy helping you with your math homework. And I'm determined to teach you the importance of using scratch paper to show your work. It really does help. It really, really does. You're an exceptionally talented artist and museum. In a museum. You're a museum. You're an exceptionally talented artist and musician, like your mother said. I'll never stop bragging about your accomplishments and your abilities, even when it embarrasses you. And although today you're a bat mitzvah, you're always going to be my little girl who was ready to leave the movie theater as soon as you finish your popcorn, who made me read you Fancy Nancy books over and over and over and over, even though you know how I felt about Fancy Nancy, who inspired me as an adult to take piano lessons. And I hope you remember this happy day for the rest of your life. I love you. Mazel tov.
Beautiful. Abby, come on up. You're going to join us. Okay. Ellie, will you, with your sister and parents right in tow, turn and open the ark for us? Friends, page 40, we're going to rise for Elenu. Malchei HaMalchim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai, L'melech al kol ha'aretz, Bayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, U'shemo echad. Please close the ark. Friends can be seated, family right to the bima together. Friends, we're beginning to conclude our service. You'll find Warner's Kaddish on page 41. And family, you're going to come right to the ark right over here. I'm sorry, right to the bima, to the microphone. So we've talked about it, Elliot, there's an idea that the generations that have come before us are here and they're smiling, okay, especially those who have passed. And We saw the emotion when you talked about your grandmother, and this is the time where we actually invoke her name and her blessing, right? Being here and the idea that she's with us and smiling because not only of what you've done, but who you are. And that's a blessing. We raise up the time around us by invoking her name, okay? So, Quila Kaiser, right? Okay? For those who are here and online, if you are in the Shloshim period of mourning, the first 30 days after a loved one's passing, we invite you to rise now and be recognized and remain standing. If you're in your first year of mourning a loved one's passing, we invite you to rise now and be recognized. If you are commemorating the yard site, the death anniversary of a loved one's passing, we ask you to rise now and be recognized. And if it is your custom to rise either in solidarity or for the 6 million who have no one to say Kaddish for them, we ask you to do so now. Mourner's Kaddish can be found on page 41. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shmei Rabbah Ve'omad Ivrach Hiroteh V'yamlich Malchuteh B'chayechon of Yomechon Uv'chayedecho Beit Yisrael V'galav Yizman Kari V'imru Amen. Yehe Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam Ulamei Almaya Yit Barach V'yishtabach V'yit Pa'ar V'yit Roman V'yit Naseh Vita dar, vita la shmei de kutsha, berichu, la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiram be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'imru mav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Shalom, b'imroma, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu, ve'akol Yisrael, v'meru, amen. Oseh shalom, b'imroma, Ya'aseh shalom, aleinu, ve'akol Yisrael, v'meru, amen. Oseh shalom, v'imroma, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu, ve'akol Yisrael v'meru, amen. Okay, family, shuffle over to the left of Cantor, and you're going to see Kiddush cups and challah. Ellie, will you pick up that main Kiddush cup, and each of your families can have the shot glass of grape juice. All right. We are going to bless our day, bless our time here, sanctify the day with Kiddush. Amen. L'chaim. Okay. And we can pick up the challah. If you'll unwrap the challah and pick it up, and we will bless the food that we will be breaking together. Here we go. Motzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Siman tova, mazel tova, siman tov, mazel tova, siman tova, mazel tova, siman tov. Hey lanu, yehei lanu, uvechol Yisrael. Yehei lanu, uvechol Yisrael. Yehei lanu, uvechol Yisrael. Yehei lanu, uvechol Ovecho Yisrael. Mazel tov, everybody. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. And please join for a reception in the small social hall.